Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the Fantasy Football Counselor. In this video, we're talking about 5 fantasy football sleepers you can get after the 10th round. I'm talking huge value, huge upside. You definitely want to target these guys. And I talk about them in my 16-round draft solution, and I add a lot more sleepers in that course as well. Make sure you guys get the 16-round draft solution at thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. And there's a link here below. It is the absolute game changer for fantasy football analysis. But I want to talk about these 5 sleepers with you guys right here, right now, okay? These guys are amazing value, amazing ceiling, amazing upside, and I'm going to deep dive in them with you right now. So first guy I want to talk about here. Let's get to it. Sunday morning show here. I recorded it for you. First guy is Allen Lazard. Listen, there's a ton of upside for this guy. Clear-cut wide receiver 2 here with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw to him a lot. You know, last year we saw guys that did not step out. MVS, Valdez-Scantling did not step up. Neither did Allison. So Lazard came in, had some really boomy type games. Now he is in a position as the wide receiver 2 on a team that I think is going to throw more this season. I really genuinely do. I think he's going to be a focal point of that offense. And again, you're getting him for free. Like, nobody's looking at this guy at all for Fantasy Football 2020. Amazing value, amazing steal. Allen Lazard, get him for free as your wide receiver 6 on your team with some upside. And I think, again, I've been talking about this. Aaron Rodgers, I think there's going to be a chip on his shoulder this season. A lot of people saying he's washed up, he's done. They're looking at the future of Lamar. They're looking at the future guys like Pat Mahomes. Is it over for Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so. I think Aaron Rodgers thrives this season. And I think Allen Lazard is going to be a beneficiary. Again, wide receiver 2. They didn't acquire any other wide receivers, the Packers. He's going to be a guy, potential upside. And understand, Rodgers has Love behind him now, quarterback. Packers drafted Love out of the draft. They also drafted A.J. Dillon. I mean, seriously, there's going to probably use this guy a lot, Lazard, and Aaron Rodgers knows he's probably on the hot seat right now. So love the upside, love the talent, big fantasy football sleeper. Just 5 quick sleepers for you after the 10th round. Great value, late round guys. Next guy here is Alexander Madison. You hear me talking about him. His ADP is significantly rising. This guy was free going undrafted. Now with Dalvin Cook saying he's going to hold out. But he was talking about he threatened to hold out way back in like January, February. I've been telling you guys, stay away from Cook. Now everybody's now targeting Madison. You can get Madison for pretty much free as well. And this is a guy that I get as a backup to my Derrick Henry. I don't handcuff Dalvin Cook because I don't draft Dalvin Cook. Here's the secret when you're drafting Madison this season. Draft him as a late round sleeper with potential to start. I don't look at Madison as a backup. I look at him as a starter because Cook is, if he holds out, that's great. If he doesn't, he's still going to get hurt. So Madison's going to start at some point in the game anyway. Now, if you look at his attempts last year, the guy had 100 attempts and he had just under 500 yards. Now, if you multiply that out to what Dalvin Cook did, he had over 1,100 yards. He had 250 attempts. Madison had less than half of that. And basically what I'm saying is, if you project what Madison did, what Dalvin Cook did, Madison could do the same thing with the Vikings. Cook is a product of the Vikings offense, and Madison is just as capable, even better than Dalvin Cook. Look for him to start at some point in the season, and you can get him for absolutely free. Again, his ADP is rising. If Cook holds out, it's going to rise significantly. But as of right now, if Cook is playing, Madison's an absolute steal super late. Next guy is A.J. Dillon. The reason I like A.J. Dillon is because there's a ton of upside, and the Packers drafted him with a purpose of potentially probably starting him because they probably don't want to pay, Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones had a good pinnacle season last year in 2019. Is that going to continue in 2020? I highly doubt it. I literally think he blew his load as well. He had 16 rushing touchdowns. I don't see that happening again. I genuinely don't. Now, in Boston College, A.J. Dillon had a pretty good 2019. 318 attempts, over 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns on the ground, 5.3 yards per carry. He doesn't catch the ball a lot, but he catch it 13 times for 195 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. And he has proven to be a workload. 227 attempts back in 2018, 300 attempts in 2017. He is a full workhorse running back, and he's going to hoard a lot of that goal line work. So if you are thinking of getting Aaron Jones, understand Dillon's going to be a thorn in the side this year because I think the Packers are going to want to test him to see if he is battle ready to take over that job if they decide not to pay Aaron Jones coming up in 2021. So if you're looking at A.J. Dillon, late round steal stash as your RB 5 or 6, guys, total late round stash, okay? And I talk about going robust RB strategy in the 16-round draft, so you can get it at thefantasyfootballcalendar.com. I talk about the robust RB strategy. You'll be locked and loaded at running back. He'll just be the cherry on top. You get him as a bonus, potential breakout, big-time sleeper, A.J. Dillon. Next two guys are wide receivers. Absolutely love both of them. And the ceiling is high for both of them. I'm telling you guys, it's super exciting when you look at both of the opportunities and situations these guys are both in. First, guys, is Chase Claypool. Tons of opportunity, tons of upside. Coming out of Notre Dame, 6'4", over 238 pounds. Big body receiver, has pretty decent speed. Now, the thing about him I really like is the opportunity. Big Ben throws a lot, okay? He throws a lot. In fact, when Big Ben was healthy in Pittsburgh, he actually made both Juju and Antonio Brown top 10 receivers, was number one in passing attempts, number one in passing yards. So, there's going to be a ton of opportunity for Chase Claypool. And you know what? Juju's just not proven to be the solid wide receiver one. Chase could steal the job. So can Deante Johnson. So instead of investing in Juju early, you can get either a Claypool and a Deante and look for a potential breakout because one of those guys is going to eat. And it's definitely not James Washington because he sucks. So Chase Claypool, the ceiling is high. They invested in him relatively early in the draft. I am beyond excited about the young talent here. Again, last year in college, 13 games, 66 receptions, 1,000 yards plus receiving, 13 touchdowns. So he has shown some flashes, and he's pretty good, man. So look for this guy to really, really have a potential breakout season, him or Deante Johnson. Heck, you can get both of them. They're both steals in the NFL fantasy football draft this season. Get both these guys, big-time fantasy football sleepers 2020. Last guy here, Michael Pittman, another great opportunity to succeed. He is with the Colts. Colts have a great O-line. They've got Phillip Rivers there. He's on for a year, potentially going to extend that contract if he does well. 6'4", 233. This guy is going to be a potential monster. 101 receptions back with USC back in 2019. 101 receptions, like I said, 1,275 yards, 11 touchdowns. Looked pretty good, okay, in college. And again, he's an opportunity to succeed. T.Y. Hilton, fast guy, can get the deep ball if he needs to. But Pittman's going to come in, plug and play. I'm not sold on Paris Campbell or anyone else there with the Colts. Pittman is an absolute plug and play. I love him as a sleeper. You can literally get T.Y. Hilton in the 5th round and get this guy super late. Sometimes he goes undrafted, and believe it or not, I think a lot of people in your league are going to realize, they don't even know who he is. So you're going to see him sitting there super late round stash. You get him for free. Tons of ceiling, tons of upside. 6'4", 220. I think they're going to use him. They drafted him. They invested pretty good draft capital in him. I don't see him sitting on the bench. If he comes out in training camp, looks well, him and Claypool, these guys could be immediate starters, lining up on the outside with either T.Y. Hilton and Juju, if you're talking Claypool with Juju and Hilton and Pittman, lining up on the outside, and they've got great quarterbacks that throw the ball. That's one thing I look at, guys, opportunity. I don't just draft players and say, hey, you know what, draft this player. This is the guy. You got to look at the entire situation. You got to look at who's throwing the ball, what the potential volume they can get, and you got to make sure you get them at the right ADP because you're getting these guys for an absolute steal super late. You're literally paying nothing to get them, and that's the value with them, okay? So let's recap here and why I'm going with these guys. Alan Lazard, prime position. Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. Kind of proven that he's the wide receiver, too. They didn't draft anybody else. Lazard, and again, no particular order with these guys, but number one sleeper here that I laid out here. Next guy is Alexander Madison. Will start eventually for the Minnesota Vikings. This is a guy that I was promoting last year, should have got the start. Dalvin Cook played, like his life depended on it because he wants to get paid that contract. That's why he's pushing for a contract. Dalvin Cook knows Dalvin Cook, and he knows that he's not going to finish another season. He blew his load last season, absolutely blew his load. There's nothing left in the tank. I'm telling you guys, he even fell apart at the end of the season, has not finished the season in 3 years. Madison will come in and be the starter at some point, maybe even at the beginning of the season, and he will take that starting job. And if he does take the starting job at the first 3 weeks of the season, they're going to realize they don't need to pay Cook anyway. Cook, you're going to hold out. We got Madison. He's doing just as good as you, and he's totally capable of doing that. Alexander Madison, his ADP is going to shoot up. It is already shooting up, but you got to get him as soon as you can, okay? Next guy, A.J. Dillon. Not overly excited because Aaron Jones and Williams are there, but a guy that I think the Packers could be grooming to be the starter. Keep him on your radar. Michael Pittman, Chase Claypool, 2 other guys here. Massive upside, massive ceiling. I like them again. And there you have it, guys. 5 sleepers to target late in your draft. Look for their ADPs to start shooting up as soon as training camp really gets into full gear. You start seeing preseason games. their ADPs will shoot up. And the earlier you draft, the better you do when you listen to the Fantasy Football Counselor podcast, because we're light years ahead of the competition. It's crazy. Like Deante Johnson was 4th round. Now he's jumping up into second, 3rd round. It's crazy. My advice is getting out there and people are waking up and realizing, oh crap, the Conchiefs in the mainstream don't have any idea what they're talking about. And you're going to see ADPs starting to climb because Counselor Nation is taking over. Okay. Make sure you guys get that 16-round draft solution, guys. Link here below. You got to get it, guys. It's really going to help you. Silver platter type stuff. Forget the draft kits, cheat sheets. They're not going to help you. 16-round draft solution below. Leave your fantasy questions below as well. I'll try to get to as many as I possibly can. And of course, guys, Fan to Fan Network. There's a link below. Follow on Twitch. The biggest thing in sports news analysis coming your way. Fan to Fan. Check it out, guys. Link below on Twitch. Website coming soon. More information on that. We launch in July. Gonna be huge. Thank you guys for being here. It means the absolute world to me. And again, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you want to listen on audio, we're available everywhere as well. There's a link to my website. When you get to my website, right there, guys, it's right in your face. You guys can subscribe to any audio platform of your desire. Thank you guys for being here. It means the world to me. We're going to crush Fantasy Football 2020. Beyond, we go year round. Thanks for being here, and I'm out.